Alrighty, hi everybody. We're going to talk about AI Studio and the build portion of AI Studio, which is for coding. I created an app using Google AI Studio build, and this is what it looks like. And so I'm going to go through some of the stuff that I went through to build this. So obviously I had to have the idea first that I wanted to do it. So I wanted to build a weather forecasting site and I wanted to make it cute, so I came up with weather forecasts. And so anyway, so let's go to build. And so this is the AI Studio site for build, but let me go to the main site first. And this is the studio. And you can see welcome to AI Studio, gives you some options. And that's this top one up here. Go down, you got stream, you go down one more, you got generate media, and then you got build. So I'm going to click on build. And then you see all this fun stuff. So let me zoom in a little bit. There you go. And so when you go to the build apps with Gemini, it reminds you that it's experimental. And then you have a little chat box right here where you can ask it to help you build something. So I just basically wrote in here originally that I wanted to build a weather forecasting site. I wanted it to be kind of cute, and I wanted to base it on the concept of four cats that represent four different components of weather. And then so now if you go down here, you see we are on the showcase, which shows you apps that have been created that you can benefit from. You have another tab that's your apps, recent apps, and FAQ. So I'm going to click on your apps. And now I deleted some of my other apps, but I have two apps in here right now, and this is my four cats weather. It says last modified 6/28, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it's populated. So when you're in the build site, you're actually in Studio for build, and see right here where the little puzzle pieces, and then you see some more icons. So this represents the code assistant, which is this one right here. This represents the code editor, which is right here, and then this represents the preview. And so if you click on this, you can hide the AI assistant chat. You can click on the editor and hide the editor if you want, and you can click on the preview to hide the preview. You can click on edit to change the name or the description of your app. And then you can just go from there. I have my settings. Let me see if I can find my settings. Settings are, where'd they go? I actually have a setting to auto save, so maybe it's in here. Yep, auto save right here. And then you can choose your theme, and I always go with dark theme. And then you can download, you can copy the app, you can deploy it to Cloud Run, you can share it, and you can go to a paid tier if you want. And I think that's almost it. You can refresh this right here, or you can expand it. Now, a tidbit, when you use Google Gemini Build for coding, it becomes a little dependent on the Gemini API. And there obviously is a free tier, but when you do this stuff, you can run out of those free tier options, and then you might get errors that say image not available or not, it won't load or something like that. So one of the things that I tried to do was I tried to be efficient with this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the things that I did when I was doing this. All right, so my basic scope of work was I wanted to create a forecast site. I only wanted to do zip code, and I wanted it to show an image for precipitation, temperature, wind, and humidity, and each one of those images was a different cat representing that topic. And then over here, the one thing I've learned, and most people may already know this if they use this a lot, is when you leave the build page, any chat that you've had is gone, or at least I have not been able to find it yet. So every time you close this page or you refresh or you reload, it will start a blank area over here. And so what you might want to do is figure out how you want to handle that. And so I think I have a solution, but I'm not sure it's going to work, so I'll try that later. Anyway, so let me try to make this a little bit more efficient. And so I'm going to ask Google Gemini to help me. I'm going to ask it to list the APIs used. Please explain them. All right, so what I'm going to try to do is see if it's using any APIs that will help me be more efficient and use Google Gemini less. And now one of the things with code vibing or vibe coding is if you're like me and you're really not a coder, You kind of understand it, but you're really not. This you can learn from using this, and so it's not a negative to use this. It's you can use it as a learning tool and to help you with things that you may not know how to do. All right, so now it's listing. It says Google Gemini API, standard web browser APIs, and it tells you like the date and time format, timer APIs. And so what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to say I would like to be less dependent on the Gemini API. Can you integrate APIs that will help be more efficient and not use Gemini API as much? Free tiers only. All right, so it usually takes a while to respond, but let's see what happens. Let me move this over just a little bit. And let's see. So I'm just asking it to help me be a little more efficient. There's thousands of ways to ask that question. Mine may not be the most polished, but it may work. And while it's doing that, let me show you the different files that are in here. And so if you click on stuff, you will see lots of options. So if I close this, if I go right here, it shows the file tree and it shows you the different files. And let's see, so if you go down here and while we're waiting, if you see it is thinking, it's trying to do its thing, it's looking for options. And then you can run the code changes automatically by keeping this checked, and or you can uncheck it and just hit run when you're ready. And let's see, what else can I tell you? Down here on the actual app, it says it's powered by React, Tailwind, and the Gemini API. Cat images are generated by AI and may be delightfully unpredictable. And because I had this up here that runs it automatically, you can see the code running and the page is trying to load. At some point, my images may not load because I've been playing with this all day and there are limits because it's on the free tier. And I'm going to try to address that in a little bit as well. I may cut some of the stuff out while we're doing this, so if it doesn't load or something like that, it will eventually. And let's see what happens. So let me go here, see what's loaded. So it didn't load anything. And so let me go here and say, I do not see anything, nothing loaded. I do not see any errors either. While you are reviewing, oops, can you ensure that I am not dependent on the Gemini API for images either? If I could spell, please use some kind of cache to reduce dependence. Let's see what it does. Okay, and then up here it's currently unsaved. And then here, copy the app, download. So it's going through some stuff. It's revisiting some of the APIs. That's what it did. And now it's, I'm sorry, now it's going to what I said, which is things aren't working right. It says, of course, it sounds frustrating experience. I don't know if it says frustrating, but definitely not what I want. Also took your request to reduce dependency on the Gemini API to heart. Also took your request. I already said that. Finally, I noticed a cute animated walking cat at the bottom of the screen wasn't appearing, so I fixed that code. And that was something that I put in a while back, but I thought I took it out, but maybe I didn't save it. So let's see what it does. And then it tells you here where they implemented the changes, and you can highlight over things and it will tell you what they are. And there's my little cat going across the screen, meow, meow. And cat waiting for forecast, so I might have to hit this. So let's do, and then we go over here, copy this and say, oops, I got an error. And let's see if it'll fix it. Oops, I got an error, so now it's trying to debug. It's telling you what it's doing. Sometimes you'll actually see it say down here that it caught an error. I've seen that once or twice. And then my little animated cat, not quite what I was hoping for, but it's not too bad, but I might play with that later. That's not super important. And then it goes into, it took about 46 seconds. Application that shows an error on the first load because it's missing API key that you can't provide is not a good experience. I've corrected this fundamentally, removing the dependency. I've re-engineered the application to use Open Mateo API, and let's see what happens. And so if you actually read everything and try to learn from it, you could actually improve your coding skills, I think, maybe, at least if you're a beginner. And then, of course, if you really want to be a coder, there are other things that you have to do that, like maybe take classes and learn from experts and books. All right, so now it's my little cat's running backwards again. And so let me do another zip code. I don't even know if that's a zip code, but let's give it a shot. Could not find the location, so let's do something else. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see if that's one. Okay, so we got one that's in, oh, that's not in the United States. I thought that I was going to stick with the United States, but I don't even know where that is. So might have to look that up later. All right, so current forecast for Friera, Castile, and Leon. 98 degrees Fahrenheit, cloudy. So precipitation, cloudy, temperature 98, wind is calm, humidity, ooh, humidity is low. So now let me do it over close to where I live. And let me compare the humidity because it is pretty humid already. And so here you go. We got current forecast for Hampton, Virginia, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny. Precipitation is sunny. It's actually going to rain today though, but I guess this is the current forecast. Temperature, 82, sounds right. Wind, calm. It looks very calm out there, and humidity is 80 degrees, and that is about correct. So let me go over here and let's look at the page as a whole. You have a spot for your zip code. You have the current information spelled out for you, and then we have 4 beautiful and cute cats that are telling us a little bit more about the weather outside. It is powered by React, Tailwind, Open Mateo, and Gemini API. Cat images are generated by AI and may be delightfully unpredictable. My little meow cats down here, I think I might keep them for a while. And what else can I tell you? So a quick reminder, anything you do here, you're going to have to find out how to save this if you want to do it. And of course you can, let's try Control A. It saves everything, but you can, I usually just click and copy. And then let's see if what reader mode does. Let's see. Oh, so you can do reader mode instead. That might actually be more fun. So if you have this and you go up here to reader mode, you can click on reader mode and everything you want, let's see how far it goes, is right here. It goes all the way down here. And this is actually, look at that, actually easier to copy here than it is over there. So if we go 2, 3, oops, Control A, there you go. And you got all of it right here, and you can copy it if you want. So that's a temporary solution for now. Alrighty, and then if you go out of build, this is all gone. So if you need to do something on another page, it might be easier to duplicate it. Let's see what happens when you duplicate it. Nope, it doesn't work, so you can't duplicate it. So this is your master. So be careful. If you duplicate it, make sure you go into another page and keep this little booger up and running and use this guy for your chat. Alrighty, I think that's about it. Thank you for listening. I'll try to edit out all the boring stuff, which means everything, but we'll see what happens. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.